Hello everybody and welcome to the highlights show for the Bahrain Grand Prix in the Virtual Open Wheel Series Season 5. It was dubbed the Battle of Bahrain back on the 21st of December 2019 when it was initially broadcast, and it was going to be a spectacular race indeed, especially with how close Kalpasic and Rikolj were in Australia. However, it was going to be a bit of a dark horse of the championship that took pole position in Massimiliano Ribolli for Reading Game Studios Racing. It was only by 0.06 of a second, but still a sizable margin around a track like Bahrain, and it was clearly going to leave the two championship contenders with a little bit of work to do. Let's head over to the young version of myself, Tom Dillon, for the very first solo commentary of the season.
Anyway, the grid has reformed with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix in the Virtual Open Wheel Series. Has not a very good start for Massi. And in fact, Max Reichel and Peter Jones have both got good starts. And that's one of the CGP cars. Going back, it's Jakob. Has completely spun out in turn 1. And I can't see Massi either. There's stuff flying everywhere. Massi's gone far back. He's now in P5. Fending off the Prime GP car of Sean Jones and his teammates. It's not a very good start from him at all. Peter Jones now into the lead, fending off his 8-6 teammate Max Reichel. Aegis has lost his front wing, and let's have a look at Jakob. Anyway, Massi's now going for a move on his Reading Game teammate Max Krauset. And Max just lets him by. He has got a front wing, it's just black, so I couldn't see it. And that's Marco, who hasn't got a front wing, who's still going for the challenge. No front wing, and he's still trying to challenge for a position. But the two 8-6s are in the lead, followed by the CGP of Simon. Then Joe Gillett is in P4. In the slipstream of Max Krauset now, gaining and gaining and gaining. Is he going to go for the move into turn 1? He goes for the dive bomb, and he's almost made it happen. And he's barged Max over the circuit, but I don't think there was anything wrong with that. That is quite a good move from that far back, but Max isn't going to let that stick. He's going to try his best not to. He has a little look, isn't able to make anything of it. He goes a little bit deep into that corner. He goes across the circuit, gives Max a little bit of space, and now Max hits him. He misjudged the braking zone entirely there, but he's still in with a chance here. Loses the car a little bit on the exit, on the entry to the hairpin. Or lap 4 of 23, sorry. Which means we've got about 19 laps to go. After the first pit stops come in, we'll see what goes on at Guzlo. I apologise, I don't know your first name. Has retired from this race. Down, well, obviously down to P16. Simon goes very deep into that corner there, going into the gravel for a second. That's allowing Max to stay in the slipstream and try and gain and gain and gain. If he gets a better exit here, he could be onto him at the end of this straight. Simon goes to break the toe. He's weaving a little bit. Possibly allowed in the rules. He goes defensive. Max has a look around the outside. He goes for the switchback. And he goes for the switchback again, but he's not able to make it. All he can see is the DOS Stream logo of Simon's car. And then he goes for the switchback, and he does make the switchback work. But anyway, Joe goes to break the toe. And Massi just is being smokescreened, but is trying to get all of the toe he can. Joe is weaving the best he can. Massi goes to the outside. Joe goes to reclaim the racing line. And now Massi is all over his gearbox. He's going to try his best to get past now. He's following. And he's going to try and gain in the toe down this straight. I don't think he's going to make it. It's going to have to be on the next straight. He brakes just after the 100 board. Very clean through the throttle. Have a look at how he takes this corner. Quick dab on the brakes. Loads of curb to slow you down enough. Not much curb on the exit though. And now look how much he's gained through that little section alone. Joe is now very much defensive. He's having to look in his wing mirrors constantly. Tools on track right now, apart from this one. Who's this? This is Will Metcalf and Joris Bilkins having a little bit of a scrap for P9. And Joris goes off the track, and then Will spins as well. I am not sure what happened there. So we're looking at the replay, and, well, Joris spins, and then Will is just flustered and spins himself. And Peter makes a mistake. That's going to allow Max Weichel to go around the outside, and Peter just almost lets him through. But is he going to try and go back at him? They didn't want to battle through there, understandably, as teammates, and Peter's just going to get the slipstream now. And these two will probably be on the same setup. Peter really wants to get a good exit out of here so he can use the slipstream. Third gear. 200 kilometers per hour on the exit of there. He's going to accelerate all the way to about 310 kilometers per hour. He's staying in the slipstream, he's staying in the slipstream, he's gaining a little bit, he's gaining little by little. In the braking zone, how much is he able to make up? He's able to make up a little bit, but not enough. The gap is now 4/10. That mistake has really cost Peter. Or, I apologise, that's Aegis, not the other Gomer. It looks like the other Gomer, and he's gone for the dive bomb. Max Garcet locks up. Is that going to allow either of them through? Aegis can't quite make the dive bomb work, but that was quite impressive that he even tried that. And it almost came off. They've all got slipstream on each other apart from Max, and he just goes for the dive bomb again. He's not quite able to make it, even though he's desperately lunging for it. This is all a battle for P11, not even for points. They've been very prominent in this race. And is he going to go for another dive bomb? He's not. But Aegis's late braking has been top notch just this last lap alone. He's going around the outside. This isn't really a place that you can overtake or afford to be going side by side, but he's managed to make the move stick, has he? Max keeps his nose in. And he hasn't. Aegis is now gaining a little bit. But who's got the better top speed? This is going to be a battle. Max looks for the move, but he isn't able to make it. But he's able to stay on Aegis's gearbox. Aegis makes a little bit of a mistake on the exit of that corner. So Max is able to stay in his slipstream. And behind him, though, is Gabriel Lafreniere, who pulls to one side to go and try and overtake him. And he's got the move done. But Max almost goes across him, and they've got 3 wide into the corner. That was never going to work. That looks like it could be a little bit of a suspension damage for Gabriel Lafreniere, but it's not. He's come off quite lightly from that contact there. Max Garcet's come off quite bad, though, from going 3 wide into turn 1, as he was on the outside. And now it's a battle of who can break later, and he just looks like he's broken later, and that's Max Garcet off. Makes a little bit of a mistake. And now Gabriel Lafreniere all over the gearbox of Aegis Battars. Is he going to go for a dive bomb into this hairpin? I don't think he's close enough. All of the front runners now pitting. Massey comes into the pits, as does Joe Gillett, as does Peter Jones. So we're going to see, is Joe Gillett able to make the overcut on Max Weichel work? Jakob's out of the pits. Massey also soars by. Is Simon also out of the pits? Simon, no. Simon has a longer pit stop. Therefore, Jakob has got the jump on him. He's jumped his teammate in the pits, but they aren't able to get past Sean Jones, who I'm not sure if Sean Jones has pit yet. Doesn't look like he has, because he is in quite a lofty position. Gabriel Lafreniere going for a move on Will Metcalf. Is he going to go for the dive bomb? He breaks late, but Will is just able to break a little bit later, but that does mean Will goes quite deep into turn 1 there, compromising his exit off turn 2, which means Gabriel has got the better exit and is able to go down the inside, and he's able to break just late enough to keep Will at bay. Is he going to squeeze him off of the track? I think he is, and he's managed to make that stick. Now Will has got to follow him the best he can, but he gets that all wrong for Peter Jones. Now Sean Jones just come into the pits. We're going to see, is he able to make the jump work? No, Alex Hallows has got him. Is Aegis going to have him? I think Aegis has got him as well, but we will see. I think he has. Aegis gets him as well. Sean Jones is down to P9. Not bad though, as he has got a 40-second gap to Max Garcet's behind. Once again, Massey's going to gain through this technical section, but Joe's advantage on the straights is just going to be too much for him. And he goes for the switchback. Is he able to make it? I don't think he is. He makes contact with Joe's bumper there. And Massey just desperately trying to get him. He has a little bit of a questionable moment. Desperately trying to make what he can of this battle, and it looks like Joe might just hold it. Massey, and it looks like he might have it. He's got the good exit, but this is where Joe's top speed advantage comes into play. Massey's just not able to force a move. He goes for the dive bomb, and Joe's just able to squeeze him out. And we go on to the final lap. It is make or break now for Massey. We've got Max Weichel in the lead of this Grand Prix. He's got a comfortable lead. You have to think he's probably going to win it. Massey just has to go for it. He goes for the dive bomb, and he spins. And that's going to allow Jakob, is it? It's allowed Jakob through. And Joe Gillett just shuts the door on him and spins him. That has killed the battle. And it looks like it's going to be a podium for Joe Gillett, but perhaps not under the circumstances he would like. The stewards might have to have a look at that at the end of the race. And it looks like he's going to do it. He's clean through there. And he comes across the line to take another victory. The champion strikes again. Dominant performance from him and his 8-6 teammate Peter Jones. And then Joe Gillett is going to come across the line. He's coming around the final corner now. This will be Ozone Motorsports' first podium, I believe, in VOWS. And he crosses the line to take the podium that they so desperately wanted. And now Massi and Jakob aren't able to make anything of it. Massi finishes P5, from pole. And that's an interesting way to celebrate a race win from Max and Jakob.
And so, somewhat of a coming-of-age performance from Joe Gillett, who would go on to sign for Reading Game after this performance. He was using a Massimiliano Ribolli setup, so he messaged me after the race and asked if he could sign for the team. And it was a long and fruitful relationship that actually culminated in me and Joe taking our first win in an R-Factor 1 league a couple of weeks ago, which was very wholesome indeed. And, well, other than that, Max Reichel did take the lead of the championship after a relatively poor performance from Jakub Kalpasic, despite that valiant comeback drive. And other than that, the series was really set up for a spectacular season after 2 rounds. And I do apologise to Joe, actually, for my suggesting that the steward should investigate that incident there. It was clearly nothing in it, and I think a little bit of rose-tinted glasses from myself. Other than that, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching this highlights. We'll be back for the Malaysian Grand Prix very, very soon. In fact, I'm editing it as we speak. And other than that, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you all later. Good night.